2:13 right now, and that was Bad Meets Evil featuring Bruno Mars with Lighters. And as I told you earlier, I am in the studio with Sergeant First Class Spencer Howell from the EO down at Camp Humphreys, the 2-cap. And I am also in the studio with Sergeant Jesse Smith from the PAO. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and hand it off to you, and you can just tell everybody what the EO program actually is.
Okay. The EO program simply is a program that's set up to ensure fair treatment of all persons based on their merit, fitness, capability, and it basically supports readiness. But the true essence of the program is that the EO program is a leadership program. Basically, the leaders ensure that persons in command or anyone that's in their formations and so on, what the EO program ensure that persons don't go ahead and be stereotyped or discriminated against. Also, all the reason why I say that why EO is a leadership program is because leaders break stereotypes and practices that condone either bad perceptions or unit norms. And also leaders ensure that if there is any type of perceptions and stuff, they ensure that they find time to send their personnel to either get training or attend special observances and so on. So at the end of it, the EO program is a leadership program. Right. And that's if anything is conveyed here today, that's the core of this whole topic, leadership. Right.
Okay. So basically what a leader should do, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to what leaders have been doing in the past, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's cool. So how do you file an EO complaint if you feel like your leadership, is not doing what they should be doing?
You file a leadership complaint through many avenues. But not leadership, but you file an EO complaint through many avenues. EO complaint can be filed through your equal opportunity leader, through myself, as far as for the brigade. But really and truly, what it is, it's a complaint. It's a dispute, and it should be handled at the lowest level. And what most people fail to realize is that it's just like any other complaints and disputes. As a mid-level or senior leader, you've already been doing it. Right. You've already been, doing dispute resolutions. If somebody in first squad has a complaint or something like that with somebody in second squad, you've already been doing it. So the leaders are equipped to go ahead and do that. Where I come in specifically is if that process has failed and either they've tried to attempt to go ahead and resolve it and it can't be done, then we come in and ensure that it's properly addressed and it's properly taken care of.
Okay. So how long does that usually happen, like before that lapse in leadership, before that happens? Like how long after the lapse does it go up to the EO?
Well, it depends. If you have let's say you have a person, they went and addressed it with their first line leader. I feel like I'm getting discriminated against because I'm a female and they placed me into the orderly room. And the squad leader or first line says, okay, we'll go ahead and get it changed. And it gets put on the shelf and so on. After she's already brought it to her first line leader, then she addresses it to the required person. If they're still not doing it there, then okay, well, you know what? Leaders are not listening. I want to use either open door policy, talk to the commander first, sergeant. I want to go or file a complaint.
Right.
So,
okay. Or could it be if that person's not comfortable going to their first line leadership? Right. Could they come straight to you in case of a EO complaint?
Yes, they could come to anyone to go ahead and do it. But it's the biggest thing why I always tell a lot of personnel if they just want to talk about it or something is start at the lowest level. Each company should have two equal opportunity leaders assigned to it that are primary and alternate.
Okay.
What happens whenever you jump the chain and you come outside of your unit is you brought a unit-specific problem outside of the unit, and somebody else is either privy to inside information and stuff, and you didn't give that leadership opportunity to fix it. So whenever I do come back, or somebody from the outside, either myself, IG, or whoever comes back, then the first perception leadership is going to think is that, man, you didn't even give me a chance to fix it.
Right.
So if you've already went ahead and started off on the wrong foot. That's why I always say, trust me, leaders here, they have too much stuff to do to mess things up the first time. Give them a chance, and trust me, they'll have your best interests at heart.
That's good to know, man. All righty. So anything else that you want to talk about during this break?
No, besides the core tenets of the EO program, again, it's a leadership program. It didn't take the schooling that I had in EO school to go ahead and, stop somebody from practicing either discrimination or any of the isms and so on. It takes a leader. It takes a leader to step in and do the right thing, to just ensure that there's a proper climate that's in there. And if people stop looking at it as quote unquote a minority program or whatever they want to go ahead and call it, and look at it as a leadership program, a lot of the core concepts and so on that we do as far as to bridge and unite different groups and everything like that will be so well received.
All right, awesome. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with a check of your local weather. Then we're going to go into a couple songs, and then we'll be right back with Sergeant First Class Howell and Sergeant Smith from the EO and PAO. Keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle. It's 2:31 right now, and that was Sugar by Maroon 5. And we are in the studio with Sergeant First Class Howell and Sergeant Smith from the PAO and the EO office. So we're just going to get right into it. So how is it that that one can support a foster healthy working environment? How does the EO do that?
Well, the EO program assists in fostering a healthy climate, first of all, we do command climate surveys. It gives us real-time statistical feedback of what your unit's climate is. So it brings us back to a lot of stuff as far as for what leadership can fix and what they can't fix, perceptions they can correct and what they can't correct. So that survey is really important because it's a anonymous survey that soldiers can have a voice if they perceive that either they're not being listened to or something like that. They write in the survey specifically what areas they want to address, and then they relay that to command. So that's one way we do for a healthy climate. The other way is we also do education as far as we train local unit members to become equal opportunity leaders. Also, we do senior leader seminars. We also do observances throughout the year. Also, we conduct various amounts of training, anything from consideration of this training to sexism to any of the isms. We basically do it all.
Okay.
And then last but not least, we are an entity that is available to soldiers. If they want to talk to somebody, we'll definitely listen to them. And again, we're there to support the soldiers.
Okay. So I'm glad that you brought up the sexism and all the other isms. So speaking on that, like with the Women's Equality Month, like how does that fit into the whole EO program?
Well, Women's Equality is actually a day. It's on the 26th of August, but due to mission constraints, we have to push the date a little earlier, so it won't be on the 26th. The 2nd Combat Aviation Brigade is actually hosting it. Well, actually, the 442 is hosting the actual event on the 13th. It will be in the community in the CAC and on Camp Humphreys, the Community Activity Center. It's going to be from 10:30 to 11:30 on that Thursday, and it's going to be an awesome event. It's going to be an educational event, basically stating what the struggles that women have went through as far as for equality, as far as for disparities in pay, disparities as far as for different jobs, as far as for the military. And it's not only a military panel. Right. It'll be civilians as well. We'll also have males on the panel as well, too, so that to ensure that this, when you talk about women's equality, it's not just a woman thing.
Right.
It's a community / culture that they have not only contributed in so many different fields, and they have not only represented so well. This is a great event. Please go ahead and come on out. Let everybody know. Don't miss it. It's going to be 10:30 at the Community Activity Center.
Yeah, and I just wanted to weigh in on the the equality thing. Like, people don't know that if one person is affected, then everybody in the office is affected. Because like you lose that capability from that one individual, and now it's like the workload is being flooded over to everybody else. Like, everybody is affected by it. So I don't know. People need to be cognizant of that and be aware that if it affects one, it affects everybody. Just like with all the other problems in the Air Force. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this is a big thing, and I think everybody should go to it. Women's Equality Day. Mm-hmm. And it's the 13th.
It's the 13th of August. It's a Thursday. It'll be right in the morning before lunch. You go there, get some good knowledge about the event, and then go on and have some lunch and continue on with the day.
Some empowerment. Get that empowerment going in your system.
That is exactly right.
Awesome.
That's exactly right.
All right, so we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with more great music by Christina Aguilera. Got some Sam Smith coming up, and also a little bit of Monsters and Men. And then we'll be right back with Sergeant First Class Howell to take us out of the 3 o'clock hour. The 2 o'clock hour. I'm trying to jump ahead of schedule here. All right, so keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle.
As far as for dates and stuff that's coming up, we always have that's coming up.
So, as far as the dates, like with training, like how can people, get some of this training in their hands, and how can they be better with equal opportunity in EO and not being a part of EO complaints?
Well, with the training is we have requirements specifically by Army regulations that we have to have some quarterly, some annually, and so on to conduct. But if they get with their local equal opportunity leader that's in their unit, they should go ahead and put in their request through them, and then they could definitely set it up. There's various types of training that we do. A lot of people always talk about the PowerPoints, but we are getting away from that. That's
very necessary.
As far as for the different type of trainings and so on, they have various training that we do for small group activities, as far as for seminars, where you just have an open forum and you talk about different issues. There's also activities like the Life Raft activity that really focuses on people's perception. If I could be a little bit, if I could tell you a little bit about it, it's basically we set up, and the scenario is the boat just sank, and you have a life raft, and you have 5 to 6 members of your team in there, but the whole unit, the whole platoon is there, and then they're observing it, and you have to basically make a decision on who comes out, because basically the life raft is taking on water. You must decide as consensus who goes out first. So you're not your actual self, so they're not saying, "Okay, I want to get Sergeant Gardner."
No, this guy got to go.
You have to go ahead and vote whatever their label says. So if I'm a doctor, if I'm
need a doctor,
if I'm a middle-aged, if I'm a housewife, if I'm a
do you need a doctor on a life raft?
I mean, shoot, you never know, man.
You never know.
Dehydration, man. They might know how to fix, even though they won't have the supplies. See, I think the whole purpose is just to get the discussion going.
Exactly.
And it's not about like what, who should be going. Like, it's just to get the discussion going. And it's a very good thing to do.
And it brings the team together, because then you get a little bit of insight on what Sergeant Garden's perceptions is and Sergeant Smith's.
Right.
And besides that, as far as for the training and so on, we have it's so much as far as for this program that we bring to the table. First and foremost, if I could talk a little bit about any type of myths and stuff like that to debunk, I think this would probably be a good platform to go ahead and do it. A lot of persons, whenever we address stuff like as far as for special observances and so on, there's always this myth that says, well, we only address the special observances to the minority groups and so on. Well, that's a myth, because I have seen units that have put on special observances and so on that cater to all the different races and ethnicities and so on. It's actually, if you look it up in Army Regulation 600-20, they have, it's authorized that command, if they want, it won't take the place of the others, or they are authorized to hold observances and so on there. So that's one thing I want to, use this platform to inform. Another myth or another perception is, if I file an EO complaint, it gets us off the hook if I'm in trouble. And that and again, I want to be as real as possible so that we can get the right message out there. As I said before, this is a leadership program. If anyone has that conception or perception about the program, this is not it. If you come up here and you come and file a formal complaint, there is Article 107 under UCMJ, which is making false statements. And a lot of times, whenever that goes into play, if you make a false statement around somebody and you tie up an investigating officer's time, a commander's time, they have, trust me, they don't even wait to go ahead and do that if that's the case. So just be aware that if you have that concept that you're gonna make a false statement and get away with it,
they don't take that lightly, right?
No, they don't take that lightly.
All right.
And the last myth that I want to go ahead and put out is, well, I want to actually debunk is that I already debunked as far as for the EO being a minority program. Right. It's a leadership program because basically everything that's fixed in it has to do with leadership or lack thereof. So as far as if unit members embrace the program as such, trust me, the climate, everything will go ahead and build from there. And to end on a I guess a good note as far as for what how we go ahead and help build a diverse environment, with the training, the observances, and the team building and so on there, if all of those are kept and up as required at the minimum requirements with the Army Equal Opportunity Program, every unit has a great opportunity to be successful, not only in their mission, but in their climate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, we'll take a short break, and then we'll be right back with the weather and the exchange rates, and then more great music, and then we're out for the 2 o'clock hour. So keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle.